I wasn't going to talk about this today. We're gonna watch a video about family abolition and child liberation. But right before I went live, the students at Columbia have decided to take over another building. Here we go again. That just last night, wasn't it, at the University of Washington? Or it was either last night or 2 nights ago. They set up their own Chaz. So for a brief time period at the University of Washington, there was a Chaz set up for yeah, Chaz is back. Well, it doesn't exist anymore, but it came back for a minute, and I bet you it's going to be back again before the summer's over. And now the students at Columbia University have taken over a building. I'm pretty sure. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. I gotta check. Hang on. Actually, I can do it this way. Hang on. So last year, so you guys, that is not what I wanted at all. That is not. I don't want to look up. Oh, come on, browser, ruining everything. Okay, let me look up. University of California. This. So last year on the Inner Circle podcast, which is the supporter exclusive podcast over on my Substack, because I do actually have a supporter exclusive podcast. There was an incident last year that I covered that I don't think a lot of people covered. And basically what happened is during the encampments last year at the University of California, they took over the president's office. And at the time, the students at the University of California that took over the president's office and busted a whole bunch of shit up, they wrote it. They wrote it. What a word, Carlin. Come on. They wrote a manifesto called Bonk. The University California Office of the President attacked. Let me just look at this. So this is an article in the San Francisco Standard. Cockroaches and vandalism, pro-Palestine group claims attack on UC president's office. And then, so you can see some of the damage they did there. This is all last year. So they spray painted stuff. They released cockroaches inside. But let me show you this. Bonk. Let me see if I can find it up. University of California. Because this should be on the Anarchist Library. Here it is. Bing. At the time, the students who took over the president's office wrote a manifesto. The reason that they wrote a manifesto that ended up on an anarchist website that then ended up in the Anarchist Library, and the reason I found out about it, I think, was that San Francisco Standard article. I covered it on the podcast last year. I read the whole thing. The reason that the left writes manifestos in situations like this is they're trying to inspire other leftist groups or communicate with other leftist groups to kind of like do the same thing. This is why the left always seems to be in sync, because what they do after they do direct action like this is they write manifestos and communiques, and they send them out to all the other leftist groups. Now, you guys can always Google yourself. I'm just saying, I'm going to share the link this time, but you guys are capable of Googling too. And so what they do is they write down basically, here's what we did, here's why we did it, here's what you need to know. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter. And so this is how leftist groups always seem to coordinate with each other, because they're not working together explicitly, but after they do something, they publish information out to other groups to say, hey guys, this is what we did. And then the other groups look at that. And oftentimes this is why you see kind of the same thing happening across all the different college campuses, because this is how they're communicating. So we're not going to read this today. You want to know why we're not going to read it today? Because I literally read it over a year ago, almost a year ago. This was actually almost exactly a year ago, May 17th. Isn't that funny? This was almost exactly a year ago that they took over the president's office. So I just thought that this was a little bit funny that Columbia University Apartheid Divest, which of course is the group that's leading the protests at Columbia University, I just thought it was a little bit of funny because they decided to take over a building today. And Oh, obviously they did this last year. This is not Columbia University's first time taking over a building. You guys all remember that what did they take over? They took over Hamilton Hall last year and they renamed it Hines Hall. But let's just take a look at their Twitter account because they are saying some things. And as always, when you're looking on Twitter, you want to go into the replies because you not only want to see the initial tweet, you also want to see all. Oh, this is a new one. Yo, look at this. Look at this. When Colombia speaks of its rich history and commitment to upholding its values, these values, oh my God, I cannot believe they wrote this. These are the values it speaks of: death dealing, displacement, imperialism, segregation, colonization, Nazism, state violence, abductions, anti Black racism, Zionism, and white Western hegemony. And guess what, guys? Those are basically all words for capitalism. 5 minutes ago. So I was trying to explain to people, leftists hate the universities. They hate the universities. Look, here's another one they wrote about. Here's another thread they wrote about how much they hate their own university. As long as Columbia University bolsters the violence of empire, we will disrupt your peace, shatter your notion of control. And if you escalate repression, we will escalate our disruption on campus. They hate universities because they think the universities are capitulating to capitalism. Today, we refuse the name Butler Library. Nicholas Murray Butler was a fascist who expelled student strikers and dined with Nazis. The library is a symbol of an imperial university that hoards knowledge and uses it in service of state power. And then I loved this one. Check this out. Why do we insist on revolutionary vocabulary? What's the power in a name? It's because we understand language as the first step in transforming the world. You don't say. You believe language is the first step in transforming the world? You don't say. I know we're all shocked at this revelation. So basically, apparently, the students at Columbia are trying to rename Columbia Popular University. So that's an interesting tactic, I suppose, that will definitely equate to the value of their degree. Let's look at this other thread. I haven't even been able to catch up with all the threads they've been posting lately. Understand, the sharpening of repression is only a distraction from genocide. No, retreating into the institution is not safety. Refusal to act is not safety. Sitting quietly for your finals is not safety. These betrayals will not save you from imperial violence. Oh, they're really going off. These refusals mean giving yourself to the institution, to the state, to the empire. It teaches them that you are a human being, willing to be subdued, able to be bribed into silence, complacent when made to be a cog in the war machine. We all have agency, and we can refuse. So refuse. Yo! I read ahead. Does anyone see the C word? So refuse participation, refuse labor, refuse silence, refuse consent to slaughter, refuse to allow your education to serve capitalism. Refuse loudly, refuse boldly. Embody your refusal in your praxis. Make it visible, make it unavoidable. They are telling you they hate capitalism. They are telling you their university is capitulating in capitalism. They're telling you if you're just going along and you're not disrupting the university and you're just taking your finals, then you are literally participating in the oppressive capitalist system. Because these are socialists, these are communists. They always have been. They're not. Have we seen any mention of the Jews yet? I know we saw Zionism, and the Jews are desperately trying to convince people that if you are not a Zionist, that means you're anti-Semitic. But I haven't seen any mention of Jew hate on their entire Twitter account. We continue to struggle today because we remember that what Basil taught us. Basil did not call on us to be resistance fighters, nor did he call on us to be revolutionaries. Oh, so they're admitting the revolutionaries. Great. Basil told us to be true. That is all. If you are true, you will be revolutionaries and resistance fighters. They're calling themselves fucking revolutionaries. Are you serious? Why isn't Donald Trump deporting all the foreign students involved in Columbia University apartheid divest? They're literally calling themselves revolutionaries. They are stating explicitly that they are revolutionary communists. This entire thread is a confession that they are revolutionary communists. It is actually legal to deport them for being revolutionary communists. It is currently written into the law of the United States that they can legally deport all of these students for being revolutionary communists. Where's the outrage, conservatives? Where are the calls for deporting all of them, conservatives? I don't want to deport them for speaking out against Israel. I don't give a fuck about Israel. I don't care if they speak out against Israel. I care that they're revolutionary communists. That they're admitting 25 minutes ago on their Twitter account. They are not participating in the capitalist system. They are revolutionary communists. You can deport every foreign student involved in this for being a revolutionary communist, and it is perfectly legal in the United States to do that. It's already written into the law. So why aren't we doing it? You want to get serious about deporting people that really we shouldn't want here? Here you go. Silver platter. Trump administration. Go. Will they do it? No, because there's no anti-Semitism involved. And they will only deport people when they're anti-Semitic, even though they're not anti-Semitic. They just don't want to support Israel. What a time to be alive. Anyway, let's continue. Follow the lead of the Palestinian people and remember that we are capable of bringing down tanks with the smallest stone. Remember, we're capable of building a liberated world as large as we allow ourselves to imagine. And we have a duty to dream bigger than petitions and rallies. They're talking about communist revolution. It's our duty to rise to this moment for the people of Gaza. It's our duty to escalate. It's our duty to be brave. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Let's see what else they're tweeting. We already read that. Oh, POV, chanting with your comrades in the liberated zone. Do I need to go to the White House and draw the fucking Trump administration a map? Is that what we need to do? I'll be like, Trump administration, if they're saying they hate capitalism and they're calling themselves revolutionaries and they're calling each other comrades, they are communists that are trying to overthrow our society, and therefore, ergo, you can deport their asses. Can we please focus? Please. Because all I heard, and I know you were all there with me, all election season, Kamala Harris is a communist. Kamala Harris is a communist. We have to defeat communism in the United States. We'll defeat communism when we defeat Kamala Harris. Guess what? Kamala Harris was never a communist. The real communists are right here. They were the ones protesting last year. They're the ones protesting in the streets all the time. They're the ones leading the protests right now via Columbia University Apartheid Divest. They're fucking telling you they're communists on their Twitter account in real time. They're not hiding it. So can we please deport them? I don't think I'm asking too much. It's infuriating. It really is. It is infuriating. Vandalizing everything. Here they're live tweeting this. They're live tweeting it in real time. At least one individual has been arrested so far, all out to Columbia to defend the popular university. Public safety is giving protesters an ultimatum: show your ID or be arrested. So they've got video right there. It took the administration weeks to move Mahmoud and Mohsen in an email. Funny how fast they move when it's time for insurgency. The Columbia University security is already sending out stuff out. Let's see what else they have. Within Our Lifetimes is protesting them. So basically, all the groups in my campus insurrection report, which you can download at decodetheleft.com, decodetheleft.com/campus. This one right here. This is a report that I wrote a couple weeks ago and released a couple weeks ago that outlines literally all the different groups organizing the student protests. Well, maybe not all of them, but all the major ones, because there are always minor ones. But I got like 30 different groups in there. And so in this document, you will find information on groups like Within Our Lifetime. You'll find information on Columbia University Apartheid Divest. You'll find information on all these groups because they all work together. Look at that. Oh, all the major leftist groups coordinating all at once. Who could have seen that coming? I was arguing with a conservative yesterday, and I am actually communist jumped it, and I think you mean an actual communist. Okay, an actual communist jumped in to tell them that I was correct. Even a legit communist telling them that Democrats aren't. No, but this is the thing. We've seen this happen more than once where we try to tell conservatives, we're like, communists hate Democrats. Communists hate Democrats. No. Really, communists hate Democrats. And conservatives are like, Democratic Party is run by communists. And that's exactly the tone of voice they use, by the way. I'm not even exaggerating. That is exactly the tone of voice they use every single time. The Democrats are communists. Like, seriously, it's like that every time. Or at least that's how I hear it in my head. Maybe it's just me. And you can have actual communists come along. And we've seen this more than once say, nah, bro, they're right. We don't like Democrats. And conservatives will go, you're a Democrat. I swear to God. I swear to God. It's so bad that over on my website, which is decodetheleft.com, you can go to decodetheleft.com. I got so pissed off at conservatives that I literally drew them a picture. I literally made them a map. I said, conservatives, here is what it means to be a Democrat, and here's what it means to be a revolutionary socialist, and here are all the different steps in between. You can find this image at decodetheleft.com/map. Like, no, they're not the same in any way. Oh, but it doesn't matter. The conservatives be like, they're all Democrats. Look, okay, an hour ago, we rejected imperialist economy and knowledge. We invoke the legacy of liberation and the philosophy of direct action of I don't know who this. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, check this out. Within an hour of taking over the building on campus, the Columbia students have issued a set of demands. So you're telling me that upon taking over a building on their college campus, that they were already prepared with a set of demands. Do you know what that means? They know why they're protesting. Because this is another talking point conservatives always like to have. They always post these videos. What conservatives do is they go to protests and they find like one person that doesn't understand why they're there, and they put that person on camera going, hey, why are you here? What are you protesting for? And the person goes, I don't, and the person doesn't say anything. And then conservatives put that video out of that one person and they go, they don't even know why they're protesting. But in reality, in the real hinged into reality world, they always know why they're protesting. Every single leftist protest has demands. And I assure you, they're going to be on a sign somewhere. They're going to be on a pamphlet somewhere. They're going to be distributed somewhere, because literally, and I've sat in on trainings where they teach leftists how to do this, literally in trainings that leftists have, they teach them how to write demands. I sat in on a whole training for it at the Socialism 2023 conference. So they always know why they're protesting. This is why you never listen to anyone who says they don't even know why they're protesting. That person's a bullshit artist. Just because conservatives don't know why they're protesting doesn't mean the left doesn't know why they're protesting. Just because conservatives don't agree with the reasoning the left has doesn't mean the left doesn't know why they're protesting. These are two very distinct groups. They have two very distinct values. The left does not understand the right does not understand the left. So you don't listen to reporting from right-wing nut jobs or just grifter shills or apologists for Israel or any of these people who want to sell you something on the internet. You don't listen to people who don't actually listen to the left because they don't know what they're talking about. Leftists always have demands. So that's another thing. Let's see. Let's continue to go down their Twitter account. Doing live up. Oh, here's video. Hang on. I'll set up the sound on this so you can hear it. Hang on, hang on, hang on. This is them taking over the library. Play video. So that was a real quick video there. Let's go back. See what else. Oh, they're putting flyers all around. They've got newspapers all around. Oh, they don't like it. They don't. Are you telling me that communists don't like the New York Times? Say it ain't so. Here's another one. They're basically setting up their own Chaz in the library. They're setting up their own Chaz. Oh, look, Eric Adams announces the NYPD is on their way. Oh, wow. So, oh, great. What could possibly go wrong? They've called in the NYPD? Yeah, that's totally going to end well. That's totally not going to escalate the problem. That's absolutely not going to escalate the problem, exactly like it escalated the problem last year. These people learned nothing. Learned nothing. They never learned. And for people who don't know what I'm talking about, the Columbia encampment last year was actually a relatively contained protest until the Columbia administration called in the NYPD. And then the day after they called in the NYPD, the Columbia encampment quadrupled in size. And so what just happened? You had 100 students taking over a library. Now, that's annoying and wrong, and it should have been handled. I'm not suggesting those students shouldn't be punished, but what I am suggesting is that maybe what could have happened is security could have surrounded the library and just gotten all their ID cards and then shuffled them out of the building. They didn't need to call in the cops because I promise you, calling in the cops is going to make more protesters by a significant degree. So you've taken a problem that maybe could have been contained a little bit better. Yeah, you had some loud, annoying people, but it was still like a manageable problem. And mark my words, what's going to happen? Same thing happens every time. It's about to go. Oh, man. And guess what? Has graduation already happened at Columbia? No, this is finals week. This is finals week. When is graduation at Columbia? I'm going to bet it's in the next week or two. Let's see. Let's see, ChatGPT. May 21st. What did I say? 2 weeks. These students launched this 2 weeks before graduation. Golly gee, I wonder, do you guys think they're going to try to make a big ass spectacle at graduation? Do you guys think, hang on a second, let's play chess for a moment. Do you guys think these protesters launched this little baby protest where they were loud and annoying 2 weeks before graduation, knowing that the Columbia University administration was going to call the cops on them, knowing that if the Columbia University administration called the cops on them, that would like double, triple, quadruple the size of the people protesting, knowing that people are just going to get more and more and more and more and more riled up over the next 2 weeks for graduation, where they're either going to cancel the graduation again for the second year in a row entirely, or there's going to be some big ass spectacle at graduation because they've spent the last 2 weeks riling everyone up. They never learn. Never, ever learn. Never learn. Have there been any more updates since we've been on the air? Let's see. Let's see what else they posted. Oh, look at this. Breaking 17 seconds ago. Okay, what's happening?
Off the door!
Open the door!
Go to jail!
Comrades be let out. Oh!
Have to uncuff the door!
Open the door!
Go to jail! Have to uncuff the
All
door!
right. Open the door!
Go to jail!
I just want to point out that if people listen to the things that I said, they would probably save themselves a lot of effing headaches. So that's what's going on in Colombia. We will continue to keep an eye on the new uprising at Colombia.
Children.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. We'll go back to this in a second. Breaking news from Colombia. 3 helicopters fly overhead Colombia as NYC Mayor Eric Adams announces NYPD on its way to campus. Who is this? Probably one of the protesters. A reporter. After hundreds of students entered Butler Library at Columbia University to launch a protest in support of Gaza, Columbia announces the entire library is closed and the area must be closed. Public safety has assaulted dozens of protesters so far and is refusing to let people in and out of the building despite an active fire alarm. Oh, that doesn't look dangerous at all. They handcuffed the door. See, if they had handcuffed the door and then just handled it with private security, I probably wouldn't have an issue with this. I just think this is going to colossally backfire. You're telling me these images, this is going to fucking backfire, man. You're telling me these images of Columbia University handcuffing the doors closed while there's a fire alarm going off are going to rile up the students? Because that's what they should be worried about right now. It's not about the 200 people, the 1 to 200 people in the library. It's really not. It's, are we going to rile up the tens of thousands of students that we have on campus 2 weeks before graduation? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. They're still chanting with the comrades. They've got their signs out. I told you guys they were going to make this kid a martyr. Who predicted that Mahmoud Khalil was going to be made a martyr within 24 hours of him being arrested? Oh, I did. I said Mahmoud Khalil was going to be the next George Floyd, a self-inflicted George Floyd by the Trump administration. Congratulations. No, yo! Columbia will, it's almost like they want to destroy the university, just like I said earlier. Everything I say always ends up being right, almost always. Maybe not 100% of the time, but like 98% of the time, everything I say about the left ends up happening. Oh, here's another one. 2 minutes. An NYPD helicopter is hovering at 725 feet over Columbia University. I wonder why. Long live the Basil al-Ajor. I don't know how to say that. Popular University. Long live the student intifada. Intifada means worldwide socialist revolution. Let's read. The Popular University for Gaza is a radical transformation of the university from a site of elite knowledge production into a base for struggle, collective education, and resistance against institutions that fund, legitimize, and profit from genocide. So when they say a site of elite knowledge production, guess what? They mean capitalism. Through sit-ins, encampments, and the disruption of daily operations, it exerts sustained pressure on the university administration to divest from the Zionist entity and forces the reality of genocide in Gaza into the public consciousness. At the original Popular University project in the West Bank, Basil taught about the Palestinian resistance and insisted that knowledge must serve liberation, not empire. So socialism, not collectivism. Today, we teach each other these stories our universities refuse to tell. We teach each other, protect each other, learn with and from each other. The popular university is not only a demand for divestment, it is a living counter institution, a revolutionary pedagogy in practice, and a declaration that another university and another world is already in formation, because this is not about the Jews. This is about worldwide socialist revolution. Another world is already in formation. They mean the Marxist uprising. That's what Palestine is to them. All right, back to the other thing. Hang on. Every time. Every time. I hate to gloat so much, but I'm just right so effing much that, like, and no one listens to me, and I never get an I told you so. I never get a, hey, Carlin, that thing that I called you crazy for 6 months ago and I said wasn't true. Oh, yeah, it turned out you were right about that. And I go, yeah, no big deal. You're welcome. Tomorrow. So I think we can wrap up today, but let's be responsible. What's going on at Columbia? Let's see. No, nothing from, oh, here we go. Message from the students inside. Despite over 3 hours of kettling and assault by the Columbia Public Safety, we continue to hold the line. We are facing one of the largest militarized police forces in the world. Deputized public safety officers have choked us, beaten us, but we have not wavered. We refuse to show our IDs under militarized arrest. We refuse to go down quietly. We will not be useless intellectuals. Palestine is our compass, and we will stand strong in the face of violent oppression. All right. All right. Well, Columbia's about to get set on fire again. That's just great. Maybe there'll be some good live streams tonight. I guess pay attention to the Twitters, pay attention to Columbia. Like, I bet you there's going to be another police raid tonight. It might be really exciting. Maybe maybe you guys know how we wanted to see the fire hose really badly the other day. Maybe the fire hose will come out. Maybe we'll see some students get the shit kicked out of them. I wouldn't be like, listen, man, I mean, not to sound unsympathetic, but, like, I actually wouldn't mind watching some of these kids get the shit kicked out of them on live TV, because they kind of deserve it. I don't wish violence on anyone, but, like, you're being a pain in the ass, okay? Like, it's finals. You're going into a library beating drums and yelling, and you've been yelling about the same thing for 2 effing years. And it's like, at some point, one of these assholes has just got to get punched in the face. Seriously. I'm not saying that's going to stop things. I'm not even saying that's a good decision. It's probably going to make things so much worse. In fact, that's actually better for us. If things get worse, that will be more stuff for us to watch. I'm not saying I wish that. Obviously, I want to solve the problem. But if places like Columbia are going to make stupid decisions, we may as well enjoy the entertainment that it offers us, because that's all we can do. It's all we can do is enjoy the show.